Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing great. I'm Animesh and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to cover all the types of scatter plots that you can plot using Python packages like seaborn. So before we begin, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. Click on the like button if you like my video. So let's get started. So first we will see how we can get started with the seaborn library, and we will then jump into directly the scatter plots. So we will first plot two-dimensional scatter plots, and then we will plot three-dimensional scatter plots wherein there are two variants. One is the two numerical columns and one categorical column, and another variant is all the three columns are numerical. Then we will also plot four-dimensional scatter plots, which contains two numerical columns and two categorical columns in one plot, and there is another variant is two numerical columns and two categorical columns in two plots side by side. So if you are new to this numerical and categorical columns, don't worry, I will explain while we'll do the plotting. So everything is being covered over here, so you don't need to refer anything. You can directly use these codes, use this understanding directly in your project and use cases. So scatter plot actually falls in the category of relational plot. It is also called rel plot in seaborn, and it has got two types of plots, scatter plot and line plot. So we will be discussing scatter plot in this video. There are other plots like distribution plot, categorical plots, which I will be creating videos on those. Before we get started, we need to do some installations. So first, if you are installing via command prompt, you need to install seaborn library. So you can do installation via pip install seaborn, and you also might need to install pip install matplotlib. And if you are installing via Jupyter Notebook, you can pass the same command pip install seaborn, just adding an exclamation mark before it. You are good to continue with seaborn, but you might also need to install packages like pandas, numpy if you have not installed those. Now let's directly jump into the Jupyter Notebook. So here I am in my Jupyter Notebook, and I need to first do the installation of seaborn library. So I will do exclamation mark pip install seaborn. This might take some time. So once it's done, it will say that it is already installed or it is installed. So in my case, requirement already satisfied because I already installed it previously. Now I'm going to do some imports. So I'm just importing a pretty standard library like pandas, numpy, matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and I am just adding this mod matplotlib space inline so that I don't need to do the show again and again whenever I'm plotting. And also I'm importing seaborn as sp, and then I'm setting the theme as style dark grid. You can change it accordingly according to the documentation. You can look at it. I will send the link in the description. So let's just execute this, and once it get executed, I'm going to load the dataset from seaborn. So this is a provided out of shelf data that is provided by seaborn. So I'm going to bring that data, tips data. Let's execute that. So it contains some columns, some variables, some are numerical and some are categorical. Now which one is the numerical? Now total bill is the amount. Now this contains all the numerical values, so it is a numerical column. Tip is also all the amount with numerical float values, so this is also a numerical variable. But if I look at sex and smoker, day, time, etc., these are categorical columns. And size is also a numerical column. Maybe it could be ordinal, but still it has some numerical values in it, so we can consider it as a numerical column. So let's first get started with the bivariate scatter. So when we want to plot a scatter plot with two dimensions, that is bivariate scatter plot, we need two numerical variables because it will tell us the relationship between the two numerical variables. So always scatter plot contains at least two numerical variables. This thing you need to remember, and then we can do the plotting. So how we are going to plot it? So we will be bringing the seaborn package SP that we just abbreviated while importing. Then we will be using the scatter plot function of it, and then in data parameter we will pass TF, the data frame that we have just loaded, and the x would be the x-axis. The numerical variable of on the x-axis would be total bill, and y would be the y-axis. So the numerical variable tip will be on the y-axis. This is how we want the plot, and these arguments we will pass in the scatter plot function and we will run it. So when we execute this, we get such a beautiful scatter plot. Now this represents some kind of relationship between the total bill and tip. You can draw some insights with this. Similarly, if I want to say plot the same plot, but there is another function, a reg plot, which will also give you a regression line with it. So I'll just replace the scatter plot with a reg plot and I'll just execute it. So you also get a regression line with it. This also indicates that how much is the slope of the regression line if we plot it. So if the slope is too much, that means there is very high correlation, and if the slope is very less, then that means it is weakly correlated. But this is just an insight. Of course, you need other methods to say it with certain confidence. So let's continue with a multivariate scatter plot. So when we say multivariate scatter plot, means any plot that contains 3 or more dimensions. Now it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, but in this video we'll cover up to 4 dimensions. So let's first pick the 3-dimensional scatter plot. So first case would be 2 numerical columns and 1 categorical column which we want to represent. So in this we can pick from the data 2 numerical columns as total bill and tip. The one that we take already has taken for the 2-dimensional scatter plot, and the 3rd dimension we can take as a smoker, whether the person is smoker or not. So with this we are going to plot the 3-dimensional scatter plot. Smoker would be a categorical variable here. So we will pass one more parameter in scatter plot, that is hue. So how we are going to do that? So we are going to use the same function sp scatter plot data and pass the parameter df. X would be total bill, y would be tip, and we will add one more parameter which is hue, and we will pass smoker, the categorical variable in it. So we will execute it, and this is how we will get a scatter plot with 3 dimensions. So the 3rd dimension is the categorical variable smoker, whether the person is smoker or not. So yes means blue and orange means no. So this is how we can plot. If we want to do the plotting with, say for example, all the 3 numerical columns, then we would not use hue, but here we will be using size. So here, if the 3rd numerical variable is size, we just talked about like it was 2, 3, 4. So this is nothing but the size of the table. So if the 3rd variable is a numerical variable, we will pass size as the parameter, and that we will give the name of the column. And all the 3 are numerical variables, and we will run it, and we will get a scatter plot representing 3 numerical columns. So the first dimension is the x-axis, the total bill. The second is the tip, and the 3rd dimension is the magnitude of these circles, these solid circles. So 1 has the smallest size and 6 has the largest size, in that order. So we understood how we can plot 3-dimensional scatter plots with 2 numerical and 1 categorical, and with all the 3 numerical columns. Now we will look at how we can plot the 4-dimensional multivariate scatter plot. So now in 4-dimensional we can use 2 numerical columns and 2 categorical columns. First let us see that. So when we want to plot a scatter plot, we will pass the similar parameters like data as the df, x axis we want total tip, total bill, and y we want tip, and the hue we can have smoker as one category, and style would be one more parameter, which is another category. We will have time for that. Okay, now time is also a categorical column. We can see in the data, just for our understanding, it is dinner, lunch, breakfast, etc. So it is representing that category, and I will just run it, and I get a scatter plot like this, which represent on the x-axis the total bill, y-axis tip, and the orange color represents that person is not a smoker, and blue represents the person is a smoker, and the cross represent dinner, and the circles dots represents the lunch. Although this represents the four-dimensional scatter plot, but you might need to be little careful while using it, because it might not be as appealing or as clear in representing the facts of your data to the audience. So there is one more trick to it. What you can do is, instead of adding the fourth categorical dimension in style, you use another parameter call. So in call, you will pass the fourth dimension, that is time. So what this will do is, it will split the scatter plot of 3 dimensions into 2 scatter plots, with one with lunch and another with dinner. So this is how you can be more presentable and more clearer in your representation of your plots. So I'll just execute it, and let's just see. This might take some time. Okay, we got it. So we have the scatter plot with 3 dimension with lunch and another with dinner. So this is more clear, and this is giving a better picture of it, but it's up to your choice. Whichever suits you, you are free to use that, because you now know how to use it. Here a slight difference is that I'm using rel plot. So rel plot is the primary function. I used scatter plot previously, but rel plot by default has a parameter scatter plot. You can pass another different kinds of plots also in rel plot, but when you are using call, you might need to use only rel plot, because scatter plot will not work in that case. So that's all in this video. I hope you guys like this video, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos that I am going to now upload on plotting, data visualization for you guys. Well, that's it. Thank you and take care.